Hey, what's going on, everybody? Um, Man, it's been a little bit since I've kind of talked about stuff here on the Utah High School Hoops podcast. And that's just been honestly life. Life is happening all of the time. And it's all good things, nothing bad. But today I wanted to create an episode here. It's a bit of a reflective episode. It's a solo episode, so I don't know how long it's going to be. But I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about my journey as a parent in the high school basketball world. It's one perspective. I just want to be very clear on this. This is one perspective. There's probably 100 different stories, but we hear a lot about recruiting for the kid, and we hear a lot about, AAU, or we hear about that you got this high school or this or that. We don't really talk a lot about the parent's role and what it's like to parent in this situation. And so I've just been reflecting on it because AJ just finished 17U, AAU basketball, senior year is starting up. The recruiting thing is going, all of that stuff. And so it was just a good moment of kind of reflection. And I just want to say a few things that I have learned. Again, this could just be me, but maybe this will help somebody out there. So the first thing I've learned is this. As a parent, your child has to want to succeed more than you want them to succeed. Um, it won't, it's not going to happen because you quote will it to happen. Just won't. Um, it's not sustainable. The journey is can be pretty tough for your player, for your student. I'll just say son in this case, because I didn't walk through this with any of my daughters yet. Although my daughter made the high school volleyball team, which is really exciting. So high school volleyball dad activated. Stay tuned for the Utah High School Girls Volleyball podcast. No, it's not going to happen. But going back to the original point is your son has to want this. Your son has to be driven by this. And I'm not just talking about in high school. I'm talking about the fact that so early on with AJ in basketball, I'll never forget this. He was in third grade and he was a pretty big third grade kid. And he made a fifth grade basketball team. This is when we were in Colorado Springs. And he was playing fifth grade basketball, and the coach was running it like it was a college practice. 2 to 2.5 hours conditioning, just like, oh, we're going to make your kid a man. And I remember one time AJ came back from practice and he said, Dad, I hate basketball. I hate it. And I thought a third grade kid should never hate a sport. And to be totally honest, we pulled him. We just said, you know what, we're out. And he played rec basketball and found that it was fun, right? Had a joy to basketball. And I think early on, that's a critical thing, is to cultivate a love for the game. Forget all of the stuff, the league or whatever it is, right? Like, just let them love the game, love the sport. Just let them enjoy it. Make sure they're having fun, because the grind is going to happen. But the grind will not be successful if they don't love it. It doesn't matter if you love it. Doesn't matter at all. It only matters if they love it and if they are having fun. And so, we've probably made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I'll tell you about some of the things I think we did well. And that was one of them, right? Is that I knew that he was going to have to want it more than I did in order for it to build that foundation. I just had to make sure that early on he was having fun. So third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, a lot of rec basketball, played multiple sports, did all the stuff. And then we moved to Utah. And I remember he shows up at a practice And this is another point. He showed up at a practice. It was a summer between 5th and 6th grade. And there was a dad there, and he looked at me and he said, if your kid wants to be successful in Utah, you have to have multiple trainers. You have to do all this stuff. And I was like, I don't think that's true in 5th and 6th grade. And so there is a time for that, right? There is a time for trainers. There is a time for, somebody breaking down your kid's game. Like your kid is going to advance beyond your basketball knowledge pretty quickly for a lot of people. And so I needed to rely on them, but I did not in 5th and 6th grade. I was not paying trainers at that point in time. There were people who were in basketball that I thought it was good for AJ to hang around, and I would pay them to train. But that wasn't because I was like, oh my gosh, my kid has to be so good at basketball. It was, he loves doing this. He's asking to do it. And there's some good people involved. But again, like, I don't think that you need all of this like specialized training when your son is in 4th, 5th, 6th grade. Maybe starting in 6th grade, there's some things, but to be totally candid, like as a parent, what I've realized and looking back on the journeys of other kids who started off in 4th and 5th and 6th grade and they were really good, puberty is a crazy thing in basketball and with teenage boys. And for some, they just, they get big, they get strong, they get physical. And for others, it doesn't happen as intense or as soon or whatever it is. For the late bloomers and all that kind of stuff. So as a parent, I think we want to push them. We want them to be their best. We want to do all that stuff. But it's okay to delay really investing the time, energy, money, and resources until after your son has hit puberty, because you don't know. And that is a massive game changer for a lot of kids. So that was another kind of lesson that I think is worthwhile. And the other is this. So AAU basketball has evolved quite a bit, I think. I've said this on Instagram, and I mean this, like 100%. AJ benefited from AAU basketball. Had a tremendous run with good coaches and good programs and people who invested in it. He would not be where he's at today without those coaches in AAU basketball. So what I'm about to say is not meant to detract from AAU basketball, right? Of course, when I put that caveat out there, probably like, so AAU basketball is not for everybody. And there are too many kids involved in it. There's too many kids traveling around playing basketball that don't need to be doing that. So here would be my rule of thumb. And again, I can be wrong on this. AJ did not play a game outside of the state of Utah or Colorado when we were there until he was like 14. And even then, I'm like, probably wasn't necessary. 15, maybe you start getting out. But before then, if your kid is like that, if your kid is so good that you have to, quote, get out and play other competition, then just move up. Just play up. Just play older kids. Trust me, the coaches will take them. If your kid is that good, the coaches will take them, right? But there's no need to spend all the time, energy, money, or resources traveling out of the state, playing. And even I think when he was 13, we drove to like Pocatello. So I wouldn't suggest it. Even at 15, there's number one, if you're going to do it for the competition, great. But let me tell you this. Utah has really good high school basketball players. And other states have plenty of teams that are terrible at basketball. And so you're like, oh, I'm going to go out of state. We're going to play better competition. What you may find is that your best competition was playing local teams. This isn't true across the board. But I will tell you, I have seen some atrociously horrible teams from Arizona, Nevada, California, Texas. I mean, you think like, oh, they've traveled from Texas to Las Vegas. They're not good. Some of them are really bad. And if you're doing it for exposure, it's a complete waste of time. Don't even worry about exposure at 15. Unless you're like a top 5 kid, top 10 kid, don't play AAU basketball for exposure at age 15, at age 16, even at age 16. It's college coaches are not recruiting 14, 15, and 16-year-old kids from the state of Utah. It's not happening. So don't spend your money buying the exposure myth at those ages. Unless, of course, there are caveats to this, right? If you are there are kids who get offers in 15 to 16U. Obviously, that happens. There's only a handful of programs, less than a handful, maybe 2 or 3 in the state where that's going to happen. It's very, very rare. So if you're not one of those dudes, then don't worry about it. But there's a lot that you can do with not playing AAU basketball. Take the scholastic route. If your high school, encourage your high school to go play in the scholastic events. The month of June has 2, maybe even 3 live scholastic recruiting periods. It's more enjoyable basketball for the coaches to watch. They get to see them in an environment of more collegiate like basketball because you're running sets, you have a team together, you're playing against other teams. That's what, like, college basketball is not AAU basketball. AAU basketball has a place in terms of watching different elements of your game, but so does pickup basketball. So listen, your child is totally capable of playing in college and not playing AAU basketball until 16 or 17 years old. And even then, Cooper Lewis is going to St. Mary's, a high major Division I program. He led the state of Utah in scoring, and he played no 17U AAU basketball. He just worked on his game, stayed home, worked on his game, played against adults. So you can choose the scholastic route, right? You can go to the Section 7s, you can go to the border leagues, you can play in the Great Western Classic. The Colorado Live Scholastic Showcase was awesome this year for Judge. There's a lot of things that you can do on a high school level in the spring, in the summer, and in the fall. You can train. So weight training is critical. Weightlifting is absolutely critical. Shot training, all that stuff is really, really helpful, again, at 15, 16, 17. This is all stuff you can do without paying to go play AAU basketball. You can educate yourself, watch film. Kids do not watch film. If you can develop a love for watching just a full game of basketball, not even like taking notes. If your son at age 10, 11, or 12 will sit down and watch a Utah Jazz game with you, first of all, God bless you all for getting through an entire. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a Jazz fan. If you've listened to this for a while, Denver Nuggets fan. But if you're go to the University of Utah games, go to a Westminster game, watch Division II basketball. It's inexpensive and it's really high level basketball. Go to a UVU game, go to a Weber State game, watch them on television. Kids don't watch full games of film and it shows up on the court, right? So you can sort of educate them there, and then play pickup basketball. Take them to your local rec center, play in a men's league, right? Like, play against grown-ups. This is what used to happen when we were all growing up, is we would get better at basketball because we played against adults. All of this is a way to develop and encourage your kid outside of the, like, you have to play year-round basketball. That brings me to another thing. I think that for most kids, specialization hurts them. I think it hurts their body. And this has been borne out in science. I think if your child, like AJ, playing football helped him tremendously on the basketball court. I think it helped him get stronger, get tougher, get more physical. He had to work out different muscles. He could take a little bit of a break. His high school coach may say it was too long of a break, but whatever, it's fine. I think it helped him out a lot. And in talking to college basketball coaches, they like the fact that there are multi-sport athletes out there still. So early on, you might hear some club coaches, because we don't really have a great bantam program here, which I would like to see change. I've seen some. I know Bingham has their own club. Dixie has their own club. I saw Lone Peak has their own club. I'm sure there's other ones that I'm missing that have their own. Judge has developed their own club with Utah branded. So there are high school teams that are, I don't say like developed, but like are in a partnership with unofficial partnership, I think is probably the right way, with the high school, right? Um, but because of that, oftentimes you end up joining a club, and you'll have some, not all, some will say, we want you to play year round. If you can't, then we can't guarantee your spot. Great, don't worry about it. If you're good, they're going to take you back. If you're not good, then you're not going to go back. But if you're not good and you're not getting better, it's probably not worth it. In terms of clubs, something that I've learned is they are AAU club basketball. I've done the math. It's gonna cost you between $8,000 to $12,000 per summer. It's gonna cost somebody $8,000 to $12,000, whether they raise the money, they get it donated, or you pay it, or whatever it is. That's about what it costs to be on a lot of these circuits. There are clubs out there. One would be like Metro. They play 2 or 3 out-of-state tournaments, only usually one night away, and they're usually in Vegas or California. So there are clubs out there that you can do this on for a lot less money. But if you're going to play on the Nike, Puma, Adidas, Under Armour, and these all have their own secondary circuits, there's probably 20 clubs that play in those circuits. It's going to be about $8,000 to $12,000. And you have to determine what that value is and if it's worth it. Because yes, there's the development. Yes, there's the camaraderie. Yes, there's the time. The time I got to spend with my kid and getting to know these other kids and advocate for them was incredible. But also, you can almost pay for college by not playing AAU basketball. It's about $13,000 a year in state at like UVU, I think. So for 4 years, 14, 15, 16, 17, if you avoid AAU and save that money, you can have a full ride to UVU and potentially still get a college degree or have $40,000 to help with whatever, right? Like there's a lot of things you can do with 40 grand. Yeah. So looking back, like I paid for it. Like, we did it. We're done. We have run that race. And someone's probably going to be like, wait till you get into volleyball. I'm trying to apply some of these lessons I learned, right? Like, I don't know what we're going to do with that. But from a parent perspective, I thought maybe you could appreciate some of my thoughts regarding this point in the journey as a parent. I know there's a lot of parents who listen to the podcast. Virtually no kids will listen to this podcast. If you're a student and you get to this point of the podcast, you're in the 1% because you've listened to an entire podcast. You've just listened to me ramble. But I hope for the parents, this has been really useful. This has been really helpful. I'm more than happy to help. If you have questions, I will share with you my perspective and my opinion, and that's what it is. But don't take it as the gospel. Don't take any of this stuff as the gospel. If you want to go learn for yourself, then go learn for yourself. If these things if you believe everything totally different than me, you probably do, because this is a pretty subjective. There's a lot of terrible things that are happening in our world, right? Like talking about Utah high school basketball is a break from that for me. And so I don't have any sort of agenda in this. I don't have any sort of self-worth tied up in whether my opinions are right, but they are my experience, right? So I'll share from my experience. My opinions come from my experience, and that's what it is. So I'm going to continue to go on this podcast at least through this high school basketball year. It should be a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll be doing some Sunday Night Ballers with Utah Ballers. I'm excited. This is going to be a great season in Utah high school sports. I'll try to cover a little bit of the fall stuff. And like always, hit me up if you got any questions. Happy to help. So thanks for listening to me ramble on a little bit. See ya.